the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Khan, can you do a roll call?
Yes, I can. Commissioner Berlin.
Present.
Commissioner Dwyer.
Here.
Commissioner McBride. Absent. Chairwoman Klein.
Present.
Commissioner Rossetti. Present. Commissioner Egger.
Here.
Commissioner Ross. Absent.
All right. Do you all have a copy of the meeting minutes from October 27th? Any questions, changes, anything on those? Okay, then I would look for a motion to approve the meeting minutes from October 27th, 2025.
I will make that motion.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Any public comments tonight?
No public comments tonight.
Okay, how about some new business? Let's talk about 2026
Yes,
already.
there is one change to the schedule. Thanks, Commissioner Dwyer catching it. November 13th.
Something. She always finds something on the schedule. Here.
Call him a task. On November 13th is a Friday. It should be November 9th. That is the second Monday of the month, or the first meeting after the planning zone commission.
That owns the whole schedule. The other things are up.
We discussed that.
And then there's only one meeting in May because May 25th is Memorial Day, so, and that's a Monday, so there will be no meeting on that Monday.
Okay.
Other than that, it should be all good to go.
Then I would look for a motion to approve the 2026 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting schedule.
I will make that motion as well.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? Okay, pen it in.
Thank you for doing that. Just in case we don't meet in December, I want to.
I'm all right with that. All right, then let's talk more about the zoning district bulk standard and requirements.
Yes, thank you. So does everybody understand what bulk standards are? Okay. No. Okay, so if you look on the agenda supplement, under the analysis section, the first section is what kind of gives you a really good idea of what it regulates. So zoning bulk standards are regulations and requirements that control the physical size, shape, and placement of a principal structure on a lot. So those factors are maximum height, setbacks, lot coverage, floor area ratio. So those are the requirements that consist of what bulk standards are. So how far a building should be from the lot line, how much of a lot can be covered by structures, how big a structure can be for floor area ratio. So those are the requirements that generally make up bulk standards. So I went through each of the proposed districts that we are either creating, consolidating, or keeping the same, and recommended bulk standards for each of them. They all follow the same format. For each of the zoning districts, you'll have your purpose. For each of the zoning districts that we worked through in creating, then you'll have your minimum lot size requirements, your bulk standard requirements, which also include off-street parking, which is referenced in another code section, which we'll get to down the road when we talk about parking. And then also the use table that we referenced in each of these sections. We'll have a use table. I am going to steal your idea about, yes, if you,
Yes.
so each of the zoning districts will follow this format, so it's consistent. Right now it's formatted differently for different, and so it's just there's not consistency when you read the zoning code, and zoning code should be easy to read and easy to understand by the public. So that's what my goal was when I was creating these, and using simple language rather than legalese or planning language. So I know there's a lot of information, so I don't expect to have everything settled tonight, But if there's any feedback, if you've had a chance to review it, thoughts on what the bulk standards are for each of the zoning districts, and anything you have, any feedback you have would be greatly appreciated.
I definitely agree that our current zoning code is not consistent and does need updating. Not sure the last time it was updated, probably,
I see 1985 a lot.
I'm gonna say, I'm 95.
1985 a lot. There's a lot of
I'm gonna say, I'm
1985.
guessing it was the 85. So it's time.
I mean, there's been some, like, updates, like the lighting regulations were updated, some, I think some of the parking stuff was updated. There's a planned residential district, which is gonna be eliminated, but that came in, I think, maybe the 2000s.
It was like 2007, 2008.
Yeah, right during the housing.
What was the day,
Yeah.
Grace?
Actually-
What was the day?
So,
I'm off my game tonight, I'm sorry. Okay, so comments, questions, clarifications, anyone's looking for on any of this stuff?
How do I even phrase it? Okay, the analysis says what it's going to be or what it actually is.
Those track changes, yeah.
Okay, where is the description of what it is now before it's made?
so if you say you turn to the
Red line?
second
Okay.
page
Okay, yeah,
of the agenda supplement,
anything that's not strict.
anything that is stricken through
Mhm.
is existing.
Okay,
Anything that is underlined is new.
okay. I thought that was what that was. I just wanted to make sure.
Will you read it to me, Mel?
What's that?
So will you read it to me?
I also, I think it's very handy if you reference this chart on the other supplement page,
I
because
saved
that,
it from the last meeting
yes,
too.
that gives
Yeah.
more,
Mhm.
I kept going back and forth.
Yeah, yeah, well, thank you so much for all of the information. It's-
Yeah, it can be a lot, but that's why we're working through it meeting by meeting.
mhm.
But yeah, it is a lot of information.
Go ahead.
So I know the first couple of districts are residential in nature. So we're talking estate, then we're going to R1, R2, et cetera. Something that I've noticed is popping on CMAP, and I know Woodstock and South Elgin have recently incorporated our accessory dwelling units. Is that something we even want to either squash or entertain since we're going through this exercise?
I like to forget about those, but
I know, but
What is that?
if,
What is that?
okay, an accessory dwelling unit, ADU, right?
ADU.
ADU, it's where you build like a tiny home in your backyard and rent it out
Or it could be like a garden apartment.
in your house and you rent, so it's a additional dwelling unit in your current property that you're pretty much gonna use for rental property.
Do we have that here?
We do not currently have that here, not that I'm aware of.
Well, we don't have anything that addresses it.
Oh,
Yeah,
Do they exist out there? Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
but
It's a good question then. I mean,
if we're silent, then we're silent. That's
From
okay.
what you're seeing, are they allowing them?
South Elgin and Woodstock are. And there are some further in closer to the city who are as well.
Yeah, and Chicago allows them too.
Yeah, I think there's 16 communities from what CMAPS was saying. But I know because South Elgin has incorporated it, it's probably something that might pop up
yeah.
more officially.
Knowing out here it would,
Yeah.
definitely, because it's gonna get crowded.
Um,
What would the zoning on that be?
it could be an accessory or,
It falls under residential zoning, and so
Yeah.
it doesn't have a separate zoning. You just allow it within your classifications or you don't.
So on the land use table, we would add accessory dwelling unit
yeah.
as a permitted or special use in one of the residential districts. So if that's something the
And
planning and zoning wants to address, we can address that.
I would assume there would probably be a special kind of circumstance potentially. Just as a concept, I know it's not addressed.
So in other words, if a person owns a home, he can put a bathroom and a kitchen in his basement and rent it out as an apartment? Is that what we're talking about?
That or a separate structure.
Yeah.
Or a separate
Like
structure?
a tiny house in the backyard.
Is that something we want to?
Yes, that in Union. Got it.
Yeah, or like if a lot of the farmhouses, you know, you have the farmhouse and then you have, you know, where the
To the
stable
hands, yeah.
hands, you know, or whoever's helping in the fields
Mhm.
as an accessory dwelling unit.
It is different from accessory outdoor storage.
Correct.
Right, accessory outdoor storage would be
Living, right.
like manufacturing to have the like parts and supplies kept outdoors.
Or it's, I mean, generational housing is also something that's coming a lot recently too.
I could,
Grandma and grandpa in the backyard.
I could see where an accessory dwelling might be okay in a farm zone, but in a residential zone, like I said, a person putting an apartment in his basement, that's, I don't think that's something we want to entertain.
I
I
don't
live in
think
the
that
basement.
would qualify though, because when you do that, then it
Lift it up.
would
Yeah.
become like multifamily.
It depends,
It depends on how the
Yeah.
floor plan
the
is.
context of it.
If it has a separate entrance, if it's completely secluded from the principal area, I guess if you want, if that's the right phrasing to use.
Or,
So,
or it's like you put the accessory dwelling unit as the area above the garage. I think there's, one of the houses on State Street has something like that. Further down, like across, yeah,
Oh, yeah, they do.
yeah.
But actual secondary from the house, wouldn't it have to be a certain amount of square footage on the property to be able to accommodate that? That's what that would be, is it would put that aside?
Well, there is lot coverage requirement, so you can only cover 50% of your lot, period. That's a separate,
But that's like your house and like the garage and the shed and,
Mhm.
yeah.
so I guess the question becomes, do we want to have the discussion about it, or do we not want to address it yet?
We don't want to address it.
No,
We don't,
I agree,
really?
I agree.
I could teeter on that fence, but if it's here now and it's in front of us, why wouldn't we?
I just bring it up because we're touching it.
I would say it should be something that we should discuss and address it while we're doing the text amendments rather than having to come back and address it after we've done the text amendments. I'd rather do it all in one package and.
Yep. Hey, that's your homework.
Okay, I can do some more research. I can provide examples of how ADUs lay out site plans and all that.
Assuming that we want to accept that we're okay with them.
Or if we want to call it a special accessory kind of thing, where it's like only by special, you know, you come before the board,
Especially, yeah.
special use.
Yeah. Which to me, because of the definitions of multifamily versus, I think that you almost have to do it that way.
Like, I could see it as allowed in like the E districts, because the minimum lot on an E district is like an acre.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But it's probably special in R1, and I wouldn't imagine you want it on R2 or multifamily.
Right.
No, I wouldn't.
No way.
So to me, it feels like it's default, okay, estate, sure, guest house.
Right.
That makes sense.
Mhm.
R1, I think I rent a quarter lot, or a quarter acre for a lot-ish.
Wow, yeah.
Maybe, depending on the context.
I agree with that.
Well, you're referring to a separate structure
Yeah.
versus a basement apartment.
Right. Mhm.
So you could technically do it like a garden apartment kind of thought. As
Right,
long as you have
problem with
the
that,
egress
because-
and all of that.
That turns a single family home into a multifamily. That,
Well, that happens all the time with like the in-law wing.
if it's your family, it's a different story.
Yeah, but you're not gonna be able to police that. You're barking up the wrong tree on trying to control people in that one.
Yeah, I think
I
when you,
disagree with that. I came from Melrose Park, and Melrose Park, that's illegal to have a basement apartment.
Okay, that's Melrose Park, we're Hampshire.
Yeah.
Well,
It's like a different state. 'cause we're outside
I'm
of-
saying it's possible.
I can say it's
I'm saying it's
possible.
possible.
It happened in the house that I live in now. It no longer is a thing. I'm saying that already. The way the locks were keyed and the way that things were laid out, my house was designed for the basement to be a basement apartment. So I know it used to happen at the house.
Mhm.
So I have to imagine there are other residences that are similar in the area.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's okay with me because if it's family, even if it is a rental for a family member, keep them together. Stupid your feet.
I just wanted to
It just crosses a line
You
into,
can't regulate whether it's a family member or not.
No, it just,
couldn't
it's
even
I'm okay with that, though. I'm okay.
I said it crosses a line into property rights. You know, it's, there's a limit to the government on what they can tell people, what they can and can't do within reason. That's not reasonable.
But the zoning ordinance calls for a single family home. Again, if you.
My property rights trump anything the government
I
says.
beg your pardon?
My property rights trump everything the government says.
You said anything, and you said
Local
everything.
ordinances don't mean anything if they go against my rights. So you can pass all the ordinances you want, but if they're not lawful, they're null and void. So you're trying to tell people what they can and can't do with their house within reason.
I'm not sure exactly.
So are you for or against ADUs?
I'm for them. It's
Okay.
your property.
Okay. That's what I was thinking. I just wanted to clarify. Okay.
But I'm not for telling people what they can and can't do with their property within reason.
Yeah, I agree.
But we do all the time. That's what zoning ordinances are for.
Yeah, we're telling people not to build a mechanic shop in their backyard, which will disrupt their neighbors. We're not talking about having a supplemental income because an old couple retired and they need to, survive because Illinois overtaxes everybody.
That's your point.
Yeah, that's a different one. I understand.
There's a difference between reasonable and unreasonable, and I think telling people what they can do with their house is unreasonable if it's not affecting the neighbors. An extra car parked outside is not affecting the neighbors.
I don't know, in our neighborhood, you can't put any more cars in there, for God's sakes. I don't even know what the garage is there for anymore.
Okay, so we've agreed we're gonna include it. So,
Sounds like
Yep.
included, I think Commissioner Zuhai kind of provided some,
I agree with
Regulations
Grace
where-
as far as special uses for R1 and R2. I mean, it makes sense.
and then allowing, it sounds like to also allow them by right on estated farming.
it seemed reasonable given the lot size. Or if we just say it's special everywhere, that's okay with me too. I feel like we should address it because it's popping up more.
in my head, I'm just thinking somebody that owns a 3-acre lot that's zoned E does a tiny home community in their backyard.
Oh, it would be one,
Okay.
one
Okay.
singular.
Okay.
That would be a cluster subdivision, wouldn't it? If you added more than one.
And
Yeah, I'll have to add the language in there about the
Yeah.
limitations on.
well, an accessory dwelling unit normally has a cap on square footage, like 1,000 square feet or something like that. It's small.
Mhm.
At least.
Yeah, I'll do some research and see what, I'll create a comparison table of towns, what the maximum square footage is allowed, but regulation and stuff. That way you guys can do it off of that and not just something.
I know South Elgin, I believe their upper limit cap is 900 square feet.
Okay.
I don't remember Woodstocks, those were the two closest, but CMAP has a really nice, one page.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. I need clarification. So R3, is there a number of unit limit before you jump in and you have to be R4?
That's a good point.
Because you say duplex, but then it's
So
also
it says attached.
attached, so that could be
I
a
think,
townhome community.
yes, it's meant to be for duplexes. I think take off the word attached and just call it duplex.
I would just specify number of units.
Two
Yeah.
units.
2 units.
Okay,
I had the same comment, is duplex can be ambiguous.
Yes.
okay.
Is there such a thing as a duplex with more than 2 units?
Yeah,
I'm just curious.
a 3-plex.
No, duplex is 2 units. It implies 2 units, but there's somebody who's gonna say something.
Yeah,
And because you also left it
It
in
does
attached
multi.
housing
Yeah.
or attached single family, I was like, okay, wait a minute.
Yeah, I saw that.
I
You're
will
saying
fix
it
that.
implies, but is it an implication or is it the definition of the word?
It
Is it-
depends if we define it or not.
Well, we're gonna define a lot of
The
things.
women's- Yeah,
So I'm gonna keep, if it's okay, I'm gonna keep the word duplex.
And just say duplexes too.
Yeah, in the definition.
Yeah,
love it.
Yep,
so then we're saying that R4 is anything over 2.
yeah.
Okay.
In a similar vein to accessory dwelling units, and again, this is coming from South Elgin, home-based businesses. Is that something we want to address? That'd be like,
So that was recently, I'll print it out and I'll email copies to everybody. That was recently amended a couple of years ago with home-based business regulations.
so we're not gonna change that?
I can bring it up if you guys want it. If you think it's worth changing, we can, but they provide regulations. Basically says you can't tell a home-based business is operating out of a residential principal structure. And then it goes into details about how that is. But it basically says you can, if you to look at a home, you can't tell it's a business.
Okay.
So.
I remember
I think that predated me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I remember there was some to do because somebody had their FFL license. And that was
Oh, they're doing CCD classes. Oh, that's
not
fun.
classes, but sales.
That's,
I think that was before you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've come across that situation in other towns, and it's always interesting when you get a call from the ATF.
I just remember it involved, there was a debate over the firearm aspect of it.
okay. So would that be something that would go into our chart or no?
Home-based businesses?
Yeah.
Well.
That's not a zoning though.
Yeah,
That's its own separate
Okay.
thing.
I've seen it in zoning, so maybe I'm just.
I've seen it both ways. What I will do is I'll email you guys the home-based business regulations.
Okay.
And then after you guys review that, you let me know if that's sufficient, if we should add an A designation to the land use table as accessory, or,
So it doesn't exist in our zoning code?
it does exist in the zoning.
It does.
It's
It
just
does.
not.
You said it does?
It does, yeah.
Okay.
I forget what.
See, we have a association in our neighborhood that pumps out everything. They're the ones that call the shots on what you can do for a home-based business.
Well, they can be more restrictive than,
The weekend, yeah.
Yeah, they are. And then they're not, because their trucks outside all the time, and it's like, wow, except we're running a lot here.
What else?
I had another one for. Okay. Is there any other discussion on the residential? Okay. I had a comment, the neighborhood commercial business district. Specifically, you have the pay in lieu, for parking,
What's that?
the pay in lieu for parking.
Yeah.
Your number is way low for price.
Let me just get to it.
Okay. Or
It's on the B1, correct?
yeah,
Neighborhood?
B1, the downtown.
Yeah.
So the fee in lieu, I love as a concept. Fantastic. But, if we're setting the fee in lieu at $2,000, first, might I suggest that we say at a fee to be determined by the village board and not bake something into the zoning code?
I like that.
I did mark that down. Oh, we want to put a number in there.
And then just for context, if we were in Naperville, that fee in lieu is $30,000.
Okay.
First space?
Per space,
How much?
$30,000 per stall.
What number is this? B1, but what?
If you're on, I should have numbered the pages.
Five E.
Yeah,
There, you're on the, yep.
682 fee.
5E, got it.
Yeah,
All right.
so I'd say fee set by village board, but the intent of fee in lieu is I'm not gonna build my parking stall. Village, you build the parking stall. When I'm in Naperville, village, you build the parking stall means in a parking garage. $30,000 to build that stall is very reasonable in Naperville, in a parking garage. I think in Hampshire, if we're saying, okay, I'm not gonna, as a developer, I'm not gonna build this parking stall. Hampshire, you build it. Hampshire, you're gonna build it on a surface lot. minimum price we're seeing right now for a surface lot stall, $6,000. So I'd say that's entry level is a 1-for-1 swap. But then there's also Village of Hampshire, you have upkeep and maintenance of that lot, you have the liability of that lot. I personally think that financially, more than $6,000 is completely reasonable for the village. But it's also a business decision of, do we want to attract more businesses to downtown, and are they going to pay the fee in lieu?
Mm-hmm.
But if me as a parking consultant for a developer, if I see, oh, $2,000, you're not building any parking, you're going to save so much money, and that puts it all on Hampshire, I would hate for somebody to take advantage of that. So just context. But again, I think, a fee to be set by the village board leaves the village board open to change that whenever they need to without coming here.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think we necessarily care what the fee is.
Right. Okay, no, that's good. I like that.
Yeah, and if we're talking California, that goes like, woo. Yeah. So
Good point.
there's that comment. The parking on a different site, the 300 feet is something that's really common from the 80s.
Yeah, I did change that, so
Yeah.
that's.
It
you talk
is
about
extremely common
Yeah.
from the 80s. In the context of parking in general, the level of service A, the best parking level of service to get from the parking lot to your destination, is about 400 feet. The level of service B, it's pretty darn reasonable, is about 800 feet.
Mhm.
It depends on the walkability of the community, what we want to promote. I think it's a bit short, but if we are trying to promote parking right next to your destination, 300 feet is, I'd scooch it out to 400. But I do think 800 would be reasonable, especially since a lot of our surface lots is, community surface lots are about that far from downtown.
Yeah, I'll turn to the commission on what they want to see.
That's just,
I think she's cornered the market and all that, so I'm all what Grace says. I didn't do my homework there, sorry.
but I could see Hampshire, you give us our parking right next door. There's the perception of parking in a community is driven by the community's willingness to walk.
Makes sense.
So,
So the 300 feet is what's in there now?
Correct.
yeah, and that's totally 80s. Like, yeah.
It's wood paneling walls. It's,
No, it's car-centric design. It is very much car-centric design.
I'm good with 400.
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
Commissioner
Agrees that
Grisati?
it's not money.
Bill, are you okay with 400 or you?
400's good.
Okay, I'll change it to 400.
And then we do have those square footage exceptions. Something, do these belong here or do we want to put that in the parking section?
I'm okay with keeping them in here.
Because they're tied to the.
Yes.
Okay. And something, and maybe we're not gonna touch it because it's in the parking section and we're kind of not alone for now.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in like a downtown business district, the concept of shared parking, I think, should be at least introduced.
Okay.
And that's like, you've got a coffee shop on one corner and a bar on the other. The folks going to the coffee shop aren't going to the coffee shop at the same time that the bar is operational. So if you need 5 stalls for the coffee shop, 5 stalls for the bar, you probably only need 5 stalls at that location because we're not using stalls at the same time. As a concept. Just,
Yeah, I'll keep that as a note for when we get to the parking.
What else?
One thing that caught my attention, R2,
Mm-hmm.
was the, minimum, lot size, 6,500 square feet. I know that's what it was, and that's what we're keeping it, but the reason it caught my attention is because when Prairie Ridge, you were still on the board, when Prairie Ridge, came to the board for their approval, there was a major discussion about the lot sizes. And the board was emphatic that they wanted larger lots. Do you remember that?
I wasn't.
Oh, you weren't there?
No, I was not in favor of larger lots.
Oh, you were not?
No.
Oh,
Yeah, and
well, I know Mike Reed was, huh? Pardon?
if you look, R1 is actually, the R1, we reduced the lot size down to what R2 used to be. So went from 1,800 or 18,000 to 12,000, and R2 used to be 12,000. This is even smaller than what R2 was. Because our R2 used to be 12,000.
Mm-hmm.
It was like pre-1960 or something.
In 1985, for which a lot area shall not be less than 6,500 square feet. That's what struck out.
So that was before that code was enacted. So if you snuck in before 85, you could have 6,500. If it was after 85, it was 12.
Okay.
But we're going back in terms of like everything got smaller. If you look at the lot sizes, R1 got smaller, R2 got smaller. So just, I'm not disagreeing, I'm just saying everything got smaller. And if that's a concern, we should talk about that more.
Right. Personally, I like larger lots. I
Yeah.
think we should have larger lots in town. And I know that was a big issue with Prairie Ridge. That's why I brought it up.
It was a battle. It was a definite battle back in the day.
You're saying in R1, it should be larger?
No,
R2.
talking about R2. I'd like to see all the lots bigger, but
Did we have
12,000 square feet is reasonable, I think.
a community we took inspiration from for the revised square footage?
So our
Not one reasonable, like, it's gonna be sort of 6,500.
half the size.
Similar types of zoning districts. I could do a comparison table of the planning and zoning commission wants, comparable. So if somebody asks,
Comparison table of what, well,
so like, in a comparable R1 district in South Elgin to what R1 is, right? So it compares apples to apples versus apples to oranges. So we can say we did look at comparable communities or nearby communities and based our decision off of, that. So it doesn't have to say we have to do what South Elgin does or what Elgin does, but it brings a comparison into the discussion.
I will say that the premise behind smaller lots is because the cost of everything. So obviously smaller lots means you can fit more houses. So
it's
When you keep it at
definitely in favor of the
12,000.
developer.
well, even the home buyers, because the builder's just gonna, or the developer's gonna just pass it on to the price of the house.
Right.
So that was the premise behind.
I don't know anybody who's ever said, gee, I wish I had a smaller lot.
Oh, yes, oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Del Webb people want the smaller lot.
Yes, so do the millennials. They want small
Yeah.
lots.
Less to take care of. Unfortunately, I would agree with you though, I'll take a big lot.
I guess I'm a dinosaur.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
But I just wanted to, that was the premise behind going to smaller lots, just to keep it, and I'm gonna say this in tongue in cheek, more affordable, because home prices are outrageous, but
Right.
in order to keep it more affordable, they went to smaller lots, so the developer could somewhat keep the price down.
I understand.
New construction's going for what, 300 to 350 square foot?
Oh, yeah,
I know,
oh, yeah.
That's ridiculous. That is just,
300 to 350.
For new construction.
that's ridiculous. That's insane.
So even if, let's say we're a 6,500 square foot lot, we maximize that, we're using a ratio of 0.5 and builds that's $1 million house.
It's ridiculous.
Well, we're talking about square footage of house and square footage of lot. When you say 350 to 300,
Our maximum ratio for built to undeveloped is 0.5. So you could have a 6,500 square foot lot. You could have, a
3,000 square foot house on it.
50.
Cause you can cover 50% of your lot.
okay,
So if you have a 6,500 square foot lot, your house can be a maximum of 3,250 square feet.
okay,
So using 300 to 350 per square foot to build it,
gotcha,
That's almost $1 million.
you're at $1 million.
gotcha.
And you can hear your neighbor snoring. I'm seriously, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Where is this world going?
And I don't know if it's useful, the context that I'm using, a Chicago lot is 25 feet by 125 feet.
Right.
So what I'm seeing is an R1 roughly in Hampshire is a triple lot. An R2 roughly in Hampshire is a double lot, which feels reasonable to me.
Well, you're comparing a rural area to a
Yeah.
metropolitan area. I think that's an unfair comparison.
The Chicago grid system is just what's baked into my head. When I think zoning, it's the Chicago grid system is where my frame of reference goes.
When you do your comparison chart, can you pick towns that, like comparing South Elgin to Hampshire, I don't think is comparable. I would say like Gilbert's or Huntley or things that have, yeah.
It's tough too, though.
Yeah, it's very tough, yeah.
Well, Huntley, the average,
What about Moringa? Well, Moringa gets me.
That's way.
Yeah, you're talking,
no,
Gilbert's,
that's a good
Moringa,
comparison.
they're all back in the 1985 codes. Even if you look at like East Dundee, it's the same 1985 code. So many have them.
Look at us being.
Wow, we're looking, I was just thinking this in there, holy cow.
If you want
What's
to
the
go to
new one?
Huntley, Huntley is totally home baked.
What?
Huntley's totally home baked. Like
Oh.
theirs is totally out the window, but
Huntley's totally what?
out the window.
I've tried to read their code.
Out the window.
Forget
What do
it.
you mean out the window?
Yeah.
It's-
The code is very hard to understand.
It's, you can definitely see who was
Piecemeal.
putting their thumbprints on
Piecemeal.
certain spots.
Okay.
Yeah.
So going off of that, in terms of readability and understanding, is the format okay?
Yes.
Or, okay.
Yeah.
Because I want to make sure that if we present this to the public, they can read it and understand it, know what the rules and regulations are.
So are we able to find villages that are comparable to us that have updated code?
I will look.
Did you say, oh, he
I
said,
will-
I will look, I thought you said Iowa, you said I will look.
I will look.
Just curious.
We're
Voice of
working out
the
there.
voice tonight.
Okay.
So we're just discussing, right?
Yep, there's no action. Yep, we're not doing formal text amendments right now. In
Okay.
terms of a public hearing. That will come when we kind of finalize.
Oh, can't wait. Any other discussion on this, or are we good for this time and Mo will bring us back new things?
I'm good.
Yeah, go ahead.
If I could make a suggestion, while we're kind of fishing, if you fish in South Elgin's code, some of the graphics are lovely.
Grace,
Okay.
Yeah, I can't
I
hear
can't
you.
hear you.
Sorry. South Elgin, their zoning code has some good graphics that illustrate lot size, setbacks. It would be nice if we could emulate something like that,
Like it gives you a little diagram
It
to
gives
show
you a
you
little
setbacks.
Oh, that'd be great, yeah.
which I know is more work for you.
It's okay. I think it's a good
Give up
idea.
security, come on.
I think it's a good idea to people
Yeah,
think and understand differently, so
Mhm.
to provide different ways to read a code, so I'm not opposed to it.
okay, all right. Let's move into old business. Proposed zoning districts discussion.
I just want to say I just updated the table to say E and F, W1, F1. That was the only change. I just want to bring that back so it's kind of on the record.
Okay,
And then land use, if there was any additional, I didn't make any changes other than.
oh,
the
that
ones
big
we-
chart?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
if there's any other thoughts that come up since the last meeting, I just want to have that on the agenda.
Any other thoughts come up on that? Okay. Any announcements?
The village board at the last meeting did hear the the special use request for the truck maintenance facility and, denied the request. And they have tabled the fence text amendments for some changes and clarification.
Is that why they denied it? Because of the fence?
For the special use,
Perfect.
for denied a special use.
Yes.
No, they thought it was just too close to other residential areas, and they didn't believe the landscaping was sufficient enough for the property to be used for a truck maintenance facility. And they also didn't think it met the intent of the OM district.
They also what?
Did not meet the intent of the OM district.
What was the vote?
6-0 denial or 0-6 denial.
That's when you broke the tie.
Mm-hmm.
And when I said nope. So that's good.
And that is it for announcements. I can bring this back at the next meeting, which would be December 8th. But I do also want to just, I know we're getting close to the holiday time. I know the 22nd is probably a hard one to do. That's the night right before Christmas Eve. So I'm assuming we probably won't meet that day unless you guys want to. But I can bring back some additional information on December 8th.
22nd.
Oh, shoot.
Or the other option is to push it to January.
Yeah, the other options, which is fine too.
If we don't have anything else, I think we can wait till January, right?
That's fine.
I'm good with that. Yeah, my December just got blown out of the
I
water.
mean, if something comes, well, nothing's gonna come up because we.
Well, yeah, nothing will come because they won't meet the
Yes.
notification requirements.
Yeah. Right, so then I say no December.
Okay, that's fine. I'm not gonna argue.
I don't think anyone's gonna argue.
I think.
We would need to talk about this. Not that it's not important,
But it can also wait.
and it can give you more time to
Yes.
do your homework,
Yes. It would
your
definitely.
assignments. Okay, is there anything else? How about a motion to adjourn?
I motion that we adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
We are adjourned.
Grace, you're